So what makes me incredibly excited about being part of George Mason University is that stories like mine are not unusual. In fact, stories like mine are precisely what we're about. That's what we do day in and day out. I'll tell you, first alum that I met during my journey to Mason was an alumna by the name of Lovey Hammel. Now, Lovey contacted me and she said, would you be willing to hear about us? She had volunteered, she was on the board and she had volunteered to lead the search process. And so she asked me to meet her in Dallas and she brought another visitor, Carol Kirby, and we had a top secret meeting in Dallas. And she told me about her story of how she grew up in Northern Virginia, how she found her way to Mason, how she created a business, how she couldn't come full-time to Mason because she was working very hard with her mom creating a business. That business, by the way, grew to becoming a very successful $60 million staffing business in Northern Virginia, and she went on to changing many, many lives, serving with many good causes and making a big difference in the lives of many, many people. It was her pride in the way she talked about how Mason changed her life that really made me want to be here. Now, those are just 3 vignettes, and you would say, well, what do they have in common? Lovey Hammel, Zainab Salbi, Anushi Ansari, very, very different women. And yet they have one thread in common. They were all what in higher education we call non-traditional students. These are people who don't fit the mold of traditional education. They do not have the opportunity of just leaving everything and applying and moving to a dorm and living for 4 years in a nice college and getting their degree and then moving on with their lives. They cannot do that. And it was a place like Mason that did have room for them.